Good morning, Enid. It's good to see you again. I'm Steve Kime, and it's time for, well, Good Morning, Enid. News, weather, and sports for the next 30 minutes. And here we are, Thursday, October 5th. It's just amazing. So thank you for joining us. And Sarah, good morning to you. Look, red's my favorite color. So you're looking really sharp today.
Thank you, Steve. Good morning. Hello, I'm Sara Delangel. We're coming to you live in over 14,000 homes here in Enid and live streaming around the globe via the internet. This is Good Morning, Enid.
And as my dear mom would say, it is time to rise and shine. Out on the farm, it's wide open space. It's clear. You can see all the bright.
Oklahoma receives a Real ID extension through June 2017.
We're having a cookout with the family. It's 4th of July weekend, so it's kind of a
You'll just want to show up at 4:30, but we do encourage you to purchase a
A ton of stuff going on here at the Central National Bank Center. Come on down.
email us at gme@enid.org.
Hello?
Hey, Derrick. Morning.
Yes, sir.
It's Thursday again. You know what that means?
Yes, sir.
It's time to rise and shine.
I'm on my way.
Morning, Jamara.
Good morning. I'm on my way.
Morning, Kevin.
I'm on my way.
Kevin. Kevin.
Well, good morning, everyone. Again, thank you for joining us for Good Morning, Enid. It's always a pleasure to come into your homes on Thursday mornings. And we're holding steady at 70 degrees, kind of humid out. Big rain yesterday, poured, I don't know, 2-3 inches of rain. Do you know? You're a weather woman, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
Anyway,
We got some rain, that's all I can tell you.
It was good to get the water, that's for sure. Okay, it's 70 degrees right now. There's a 40% chance of rain tonight. High today, 79, so it's not going to warm up too much. But let's see what the bus stop forecast looks like, just in case you're getting the kids ready to go to school. And there you go. There's the yellow dog, as they call it, the yellow dog school bus. 70 right now, and again, 40% chance of showers, but that's later on today. So 79, 80 will be the high today. Let's look across the state for some statewide temps and see what's going on. All the way in Bryan's Corner out in the Panhandle is 69. Tallahena, 67. Tallahena Drive. Have you ever heard of that phrase?
No.
In eastern Oklahoma, during the fall, people go on motorcycle rides, they go on car rides, they drive along Tallahena Drive to see the beautiful fall colors.
Oh, okay.
So October, November, people head over to that part of the state and go down the Tallahena Drive and just see all the orange and reds and yellows, beautiful fall colors. So that's in the eastern part of the state. So you can kind of see everybody's near 70 degrees this morning. Well, besides football, what do you got lined up for the weekend, Sarah?
Well, here is our weather for this weekend. It looks to be a little windy and sunny, or we'll be in the 80s this weekend. So it'll be a nice weekend.
Maybe the ragweed and everything else that's making me gag this morning can go away. Sorry about coughing there. Okay, let's take a look at the menu. Food is always on my mind, and Sarah's always, she told me that food's always one of her favorite topics. Yes. What do we have at school today?
We have fish sticks, macaroni and cheese,
Ooh, I like
salad.
fish sticks.
I don't.
I can do fish sticks.
Zucchini slices, mixed fruit, and milk.
And Friday is my grandson's favorite item. I figured it'd be pancakes or waffles. No, he likes grilled cheese sandwiches.
I'll switch you the grilled cheese, and then you keep the fish sticks.
Okay, so I'm going to school today. Friday, I'm not. Anyway, that's the menu. So, well, it's 7:34. Welcome to show number 139. We are so pleased to come into your home, and we are pleased to have a very special guest. Judge Ron Franklin will be with us today talking about Crimestoppers, and this is going to be a very enlightening show because I have learned so much about Crimestoppers, and that's coming up in about 6-7 minutes. But until then, it's time for us to go to the bow tie guy, and that person is Derrick Silas, and he has the Oklahoma minute and a half.
Oklahoma receives a Real ID extension through June 2017. And Oklahoma natives and country music.
Back-to-back tragedies and inclement weather are hot topics within the last week. The White House and U.S. citizens are still in nationwide prayer for those in Vegas, Florida, Houston, U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and other affected places. This week also, a 16-year-old teenager was arrested in the shooting death of a Broken Arrow geography teacher. And state officials plan on cutting Medicaid reimbursement rates by 9% for many sooner care services. Oklahoma Health Care Authority is preparing the reduction effective December 1st. And in sports, this Saturday, OU will take on Iowa State at 11 a.m. in Norman. It will air on Fox. And Tulsa will take on Tulane at 3 p.m. in New Orleans. It will air on ESPN University. OSU has a bye week. Here's a fun fact in Oklahoma. The first tornado warning in the United States was issued March 25, 1948 in Oklahoma City, just before a devastating tornado hit the Tinker Air Force Base. And on this day in history, in 1947, President Harry Truman makes the first ever televised presidential address from the White House, where he asks Americans to cut back on their use of grain in order to help starving Europeans. And that's the Oklahoma Minute. Back to the round table.
Thank you.
Did he say minute?
Yes, he did say minute. He went a little bit over, but it's still called the Oklahoma Minute. Thank you very much, Derrick. Steve, in case you ever want to send us your pictures or anything that you would like to suggest, you can always send it to gme@enid.org. That's for you guys as well. You guys can contact us at gme@enid.org, so remember that email. Also, we always want to inform you guys of events that are going on within the city. There's always something going on. So here is Kevin to go over the events that'll be coming soon to Enid.
Ton of stuff going on here at the Central National Bank Center. Come on down, see us, and get some tickets for any of these great events. Welcome back inside the Central National Bank Center. I'm the General Manager, Kevin Boryczki, and what a great schedule we have coming up the rest of 2017. It all starts October 28th with costumes and cocktails. It's a Halloween party for adults. You can get dressed up if you like, but you don't have to. There's going to be live music, cash bar, and included with your ticket is going to be appetizers. Tickets are $25 for that event. It's going to happen over in the Grand Ballroom of the Central National Bank Center. And $5 from every ticket sold is going to go to benefit Enid, Noon, and Bucks. So a great event, a great way to celebrate Halloween without the kids before you take them trick-or-treating on the 31st. After that, in November, we have Rodney Carrington coming. That's November 10th. What a great comedian. Excited to have him back here at the Central National Bank Center. Tickets for that are only $47.50 seats each. Still some great seats available. You definitely want to check that out. That's Friday, November 10th. Here at the Central National Bank Center. And then what a busy December we have coming up. Family shows, Sesame Street Live. That's coming on December 2nd for 2 shows, a 2 p.m. and a 6 p.m. And tickets for that start at only $18. We have Mannheim Steamroller coming, a great holiday show. That's going to be December 7th. Tickets for that begin at $45. And then we have another holiday show, a Christian comedian, Mark Lowry. I've heard he's incredibly funny. You'd want to check that out. That's December 14th, and that's at 7 p.m. Tickets for that only start at $25. So we have a lot going on here at the Central National Bank Center, a lot of options. You can check it all out online, cnbcenter.com. You can go there for tickets as well, or for tickets, call 855-TICKS-ENID, or just stop down 2nd floor of the Convention Hall side of the Central National Bank Center to purchase them in person. We hope to see you at one of those excellent events here in 2017. Until next time, back to the studios.
Very good, Kevin. Thank you very much. Sara, I'd learned a little bit about Crimestoppers as we was preparing for this interview. It was established back in 1976. There was a young detective out in Albuquerque that was really getting frustrated at the number of crimes that were not being solved. And there was a murder of a college student way back in the 70s, and they just couldn't solve that particular crime. And so he got together with some other individuals in the community, and they came up and started brainstorming to say, you know, maybe if we had incentives for people to come forward with some tips on crimes. So way back in 1976, Crimestoppers got underway. So that was kind of the precursor to what took place for Crimestoppers, and we're going to talk more specifically about Enid's Crimestoppers here in a moment. But I found that interesting because I've heard the phrase for the longest time, but it goes all the way back to the 70s. Well, it's 7:39. Again, good morning. Thank you for joining us. And we're a day away from Friday Night Lights, so let's take a look at the schedule and see who the Plainsmen are playing. I know the Perry Maroons will be out in force, and Enid is going to Deer Creek for their ball game on Friday. Any other games that you see of interest for you, Miss Football fan that you are?
Well, there's Oklahoma Bible Academy. I guess they're playing Yale.
Yep.
Yes, that would be a good one.
And Hennessy's coming to my hometown of Perry to play. Let's see, is Chisholm. Okay, that was Chisholm at the top. How's Chisholm doing? Derrick? So-so? Boy, they had a great team last year.
They're
Anyway,
doing great.
Alva Goldbugs. That is their mascot, Goldbugs, are coming to Chisholm. Anyway, that's Friday Night Lights for us. So, okay, October 7th, which will be Saturday, is the Community Cultural, the first annual Community Cultural Celebration at Government Springs Park from 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock. And to find out more about that event that's set for this Saturday, let's watch this.
Hi, my name is Deborah Park.
And I'm Demetrius Office. And we are part of an exciting cultural celebration that identifies the different cultures right here in our community.
With diversity and inclusion being the hot topics in our society today, how interested are you in discovering the simple heritage of your neighbor?
Did you know that in the city of Enid, we host several different cultures from African American, Asian, Latin, LGBTQ, Marshallese, military, and Native American?
This event is sponsored by our very own Enid Parks and Recreation. We want you to join and help us celebrate with entertainment, activities, food, children's crafts, and music. Find us on our event page on Facebook by typing in Community Cultural Celebration. Come join us, share our similarities, and celebrate our differences.
So does the special go towards the lessons as well, or no?
The special does not go towards lessons. You'll have to contact Steve and he...
Good morning, Enid. At 7:41, holding steady at 70 degrees, on our way to a high around 79. However, there's a 40% chance of showers throughout the day. Well, at the round table this morning, we have retired Judge, Garfield County District Judge Ron Franklin. Judge Franklin, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Good morning.
Appreciate you joining us. The judge has been, I believe, on the bench for over 19 years. He's a graduate of that school over in Stillwater called Oklahoma State, but also graduated from the University of Oklahoma College of Law back in 1966. So we appreciate you being with us today. And you are on the board of directors of Crimestoppers, and we just appreciate you being here this morning, enlightening us about what Crimestoppers is all about. And I know Sarah's got the first question for you, so all eyes on you, Judge.
Okay.
Good
I'm
morning.
ready. Good morning.
Good morning, Judge Franklin. We're glad to have you here this morning.
Thank you.
you
Glad
for
to
your
be here.
time. First off, we want to start off by, why don't you tell us a little bit of how you got involved with Crimestoppers?
Well, it all started, I had breakfast with KP Simpson about every morning for years. And he and Bill Munn got involved in Crimestoppers because of Bill, and they're in business and they're trying to find a way. And they pitched it to a few civic clubs and maybe the chamber. Just couldn't quite get it off the ground, so they decided that maybe we would just do it on our own. So I said, well, I'll do the legal work for it, because I was in private practice then. And we incorporated it. My partner got the tax exempt for it, and got on the board of directors. And I was on there until I got on the bench when I had to get off because of a conflict. Then I got back on the board when I retired. So I've been involved in it from the beginning.
And I guess the beginning was late 80s, early 90s, right?
Well, actually, we were, I think in April of '91 is when we actually finished the corporation and got it going.
Okay. Well, I found that very interesting, because sometimes you think of Crimestoppers, we think that it's been around forever, but 1991 does sound like forever.
That's not very long ago.
Yeah. Okay, Judge, you meet monthly.
Correct.
And you just, at the Crimestopper meetings, can you open up the window and let us know what do you discuss in these meetings?
Well, basically, of course, we talk about our finances to see how we're doing. And then also the liaison from the police department will bring us information on tips that they've received and recommendations to whether or not we should give a reward to that person. We will discuss that and determine how much of a reward we can give. We give up to $1,000. So it could be $10, $100, $500, whatever we feel, the board feels is appropriate for that particular tip.
Let me ask real quick to piggyback onto that. You do not know the individual. When you're making a decision, if that's $100 or $1,000, you have no clue who that person is. it's identified by a number or something, correct?
That's correct. It's strictly anonymous. We have no.
So that has no bearing whatsoever on the money amount. Say, oh, that's the cousin down the street. So let's
we don't know. In fact, we generally don't know whether male or female.
Very good. Very good.
I would think that if people had information, it would be automatic to come to you and share it, or go to the police station and share it. But I find it interesting that this is not the case. Why do people not report crimes or participate in Crimestoppers?
Well, they participate. They will go to Crimestoppers when they won't go to the police department, because that way they don't have to tell people who they are. So the person they're giving the tip on, there'll be no retaliation there. Their friends won't think they're snitches, things of that nature. Otherwise, they will give the information in order to remain anonymous to Crimestoppers, where they won't go to the police department. Now, there are a lot of tips we receive from people who do not ask for rewards. It's just the idea that we don't know who they are.
And I guess people, they respond because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, it's the right thing to do. They know they need to do something, but they don't want to do it publicly.
We know there is a percentage of people that are reluctant to get involved, and which is understandable. But before we came on the air this morning, we were talking a little bit about some of the numbers, and you said something, Judge, that on average, with every 350 tips, that equates to about 20 arrests.
That's correct.
Is there any other numbers that you could share with us that, say, in a month, here in Enid, Oklahoma, how many tips come in?
I think it averages about 70 tips a month, whether you coming in either by the phone or by the tip line or whatever.
Very good.
That is awesome.
Since the inception, there's been literally thousands of tips received.
How does Crimestoppers help to resolve these problems?
Well, basically, by the Crimestoppers gets the information about who did something or the tip to solve a crime. We cover property. We've recovered hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of property over the years. You can have arrests made out of that. Sometimes a tip doesn't lead to an arrest, but the police will be able to recover stolen property. Now, generally, there's no reward paid for that. You're generally not asked, but it comes in on the Crimestoppers tip line.
Our special guest at the round table this morning is retired Garfield County District Judge Ron Franklin. Judge Franklin, let me ask you this. You touched on the subject of money, and as serving on the governing board of Crimestoppers, that is a 501c3. I never knew that. There is this financial reward, and you touched on a little bit about this could be a $100 reward or a $1,000 reward. How difficult is it for you as a governing body to say, okay, that's a $500 value of a tip, or versus $1,000 or $100? Is it challenging for you all on the board?
We've had some disagreements over it, certainly,
okay.
but it's generally, it's not too difficult to reach a decision. We have the group gets together, and some will say 1,000 or some will say 100, and maybe we'll come in the middle. So there's some compromise goes on.
So how can we inform the people that are watching us right now? How do we, the information to contact or reach Crimestoppers if they have any information?
Well, if they have some information, of course, we have a telephone line, and then we also have a tip that you can text a tip line in, and those numbers are available through the police department, or in fact, you have them up there on your screen at the present time, I believe, and if you do that, then that'll get the information in.
So we're aware of, you make a phone call at 580-233-6233, or you can text that. But also you can go to enid.org, and I think it's /Enid Police or Police. But anyway, through the City of Enid website, you can submit that as well. And again, all of this is anonymous. Let's talk a little bit more about the money, Judge. Here you're giving away $500 or $1,000 or even $50 on a particular tip. So the funds have to come from somewhere. So how is Crimestoppers funded?
We are all privately funded. We have no public funds, only from private donations, from businesses, from individuals. Are we funded? We do not receive any money from the City of Enid or the State of Oklahoma. It is strictly privately funded.
I was just so, I guess I've been living under a cloud or something. I had no clue, and I dangerously assumed that there was a fund somewhere through government, through the police or something. But as a 501c3, you're in the fundraising business as well.
We do, and we have fundraisers. In fact, we're going to be at First Friday. We'll have a booth there this month. And then we've had, it's been a while, but we've had hot dogs on the courthouse yard, lawn, and lunch and things like that, asking for donations. And when KP Simpson was still around, we sold sarsaparilla.
That was legal, right?
It was legal. That's a non-alcoholic drink.
Very good. We got to close our visit here at the Roundtable, Judge, real quick. Are there needs for people to serve on the board? There's needs for funding, but is there any other needs that you could share with us real quick?
Well, we can always use fresh faces on the board. If anybody's interested, they certainly can contact Crimestoppers, either me or any of the members.
Okay. Anything else that we need to cover that we haven't this morning?
I think you got it covered pretty well.
Well, thank you for your involvement for, what, 20-some years?
Oh, yeah.
Plus? And I think that would be qualified for a public servant, right? Very good, Judge. Thank you so much.
All right,
Appreciate
thank
you
you.
joining us. Okay, speaking of Crimestoppers, we have a promo that we'd like to show this time at 7:51 on this Thursday, October 5th. With so much going on, here is Derrick, in case you missed it, with the Oklahoma Minute.
Back-to-back tragedies and inclement weather are our hot topics this last week. The White House and U.S. citizens are in nationwide prayer for those affected. This week also, a 16-year-old teenager was arrested in a shooting death of a Broken Arrow geography teacher. State officials plan on cutting Medicaid reimbursement rates by 9% for many Sooner Care services. The Oklahoma Health Care Authority is preparing for the reduction effective December 1st. And in sports, OU will take on Iowa State at 11 a.m. in Norman. It will air on Fox. Tulsa will take on Tulane at 3 p.m. in New Orleans, and it will air on ESPN University. OSU has a bye week. Fun fact of Oklahoma, the first tornado warning in the United States was issued March 25, 1948 in Oklahoma City, just before a devastating tornado hit the Tinker Air Force Base. And on this day in history, in 1947, President Harry Truman makes the first ever televised presidential address from the White House, where he asks Americans to cut back on their use of grain in order to help starving Europeans. And that's the Oklahoma Minute. Back to the round table.
Thank you, Derrick. It's 7:53, and again, if you are just joining us, planning the wardrobe for the day, high today is going to be around 79. It's going to be rather humid because there's a 40% chance of showers today. In 7 minutes at 8 o'clock, we had the opportunity to visit with the Commissioner of Public Safety. That's Michael Thompson. He's also Assistant Adjutant General in the Oklahoma National Guard. Very impressive young man. And that interview will come up at 8 o'clock this morning on the topic of public safety here in the state of Oklahoma, and that's with Michael Thompson. So at 7:53, let's look at the 3-day weather forecast, please.
Yes, as you can see here, Steve, it's going to be windy and sunny and in the 80s this weekend.
Yeah. Any plans? I know we have a lot of events here in Enid with the cultural deal. There's football and everything. What, you guys going to the zoo or doing anything?
No, I think I'm going to go ahead and try that cultural event here in town.
Okay. Very good. And that's from 2 to 6 o'clock
2 to
here
6.
this afternoon, Saturday afternoon. I'm trying to think. Oh, Days in the Maze. That's what I was trying to say. That's our special topic next week. And I think it'd be, I haven't done a maze in 100 years, but I think it would be fun to do that. And it'd probably take me 100 years to get out of that maze. But anyway, that's going to be our special guest next week talking about. And so maybe this weekend you can take your little, or your two boys, the two boys that you have, and you take them to a maze. So anyway, it looks like we got great weather for that. So, okay, I think we're going to do entertainment one more time, and we'll bring back Kevin and give us an update on some of these great events that are happening or will be happening in Enid.
We're here back inside the Central National Bank Center, and what a great lineup of events we have for the remainder of 2017. It all kicks off October 28th with a costumes and cocktails party. If you're an adult, love the Halloween holiday, come on, check it out. $25 a ticket. It includes appetizers, it includes live music, and $5 of that ticket goes back to benefit Noon Ambucks. After that, November 10th, we have Rodney Carrington, an awesome comedian. You don't want to miss him. Tickets only $47.50, and that's a Friday night, November 10th. Get your tickets today. Going to be a great event. And then December, we have a handful of events from family shows from Sesame Street Live on December 2nd, 2 shows, a 2 p.m. and a 6 p.m., to Mannheim Steamroller on December 7th, our holiday show with tickets only starting at $45. And then we wrap up the year on December 14th with Mark Lowry, a really funny comedian, clean comedy. You don't want to miss it. Tickets for that only start at $25. And then we haven't even looked forward to 2018 yet. We got to get through the next few months first, and then we'll start announcing some events for the following year. But until then, tickets, cnbcenter.com, 855-TICKS-ENID, or stop down and see us second floor of the Convention Hall at the Central National Bank Center. A lot coming up here at the Central National Bank Center. We'll send it back into the studios with you, Steve.
Very good. Our quick 30 minutes with you is rapidly wrapping up, I should say. 249-4910 is the number to call if you want to help out and adopt an animal through the Enid Animal Control. And we have a little promo we want to show right now to remind you of the need to adopt a pet.
Hi, I'm Charlotte, and this is Russell. Russell's looking for a new home. At Enid Animal Control, we have lots of pets looking for a new home. Come visit us at 1200 South 10th Street.
That was kind of like dog walking music, wasn't it? Dun, 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 dun. Sorry about that.
Before we introduce our dog for this weekend, I just wanted to take the time to say congrats to Charlotte. She's out there. She's not here this morning because she is somewhere out there getting ready for her wedding this weekend. So it's a big weekend.
Where's the priorities? Being here on the show or getting ready for getting married? Charlotte, come on, help us. No, congratulations. Thank you for mentioning that. I forgot all about that.
So we wish her the best, and here is Ginger now, okay?
And bring us some cake, too. Charlotte,
yes, bring us some cake. Ginger is 2 years old. She's very loyal, loving, and playful. I do not have a price for adoption, actually. I do not have a cost for adoption, but if you do call the 249-4910, they would be able to give you that price if you are interested.
Okay, find a home for Ginger. And a tongue to go with it. Boy, Ginger looks pretty excited there. That's great. 249-4910, as Sarah said. Well, thank you for joining us, and good morning, Enid. Derrick, you're looking dapper.
Thank you.
As usual, Mr. Bowtie Guy. Thanks for joining us. Sarah, you're looking sharp as well. We appreciate Judge Ron Franklin being with us on Good Morning, Enid. Make it a great day, everyone. Thank you.